Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and if it has ever been more Wednesday, my dudes, it has never been more Wednesday than it is right now, because today we have a special surprise. We're going to be playing some Brawl, but not only are we going to be playing Brawl, we're going to be playing Brawl with the It's Wednesday, my dudes Toad. My goodness, the Gitrog monster. So this has just turned up in Magic the Gathering Arena overnight. I believe it's going to be the next Brawl event reward of... I don't know what that event is, though. It probably doesn't exist. But, yeah, it's probably going to be the reward for 10,000 gold of nothing. So, 5 mana for a 6/6 with Death Touch. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice the Gitrog monster unless you sacrifice a land. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. And whenever one or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, draw a card. So this one's an interesting one to build around. I tried going all in on the land synergy and ended up having a real bad time. Specifically as well, we were playing against counterspell tribal decks, which are miserable to begin with. Let's all agree upon that. But when we were trying the land matters crucially kind of synergy, was struggling a little bit. So I ended up tweaking it and turning it more into a mid-rangey kind of style deck where the Gitrog monster is kind of like a side bonus effect, who also ends up just being a really good mid-range card as it stands. You know, a 5 mana 6/6 that draws you extra cards every turn is pretty sweet. You also get to play additional lands as well, so we are running a little bit more than normal. 26, it might want to be 27, but so far 26 has been doing me just fine, since we have lots of ways of finding lands and recurring lands anyway. So the idea of the deck is essentially be mid-range. So you've seen this kind of deck when you play things like Vraska, Golgari Queen as your commander, or even Grunk, Cursed Huntsman. It's going to be a similar kind of synergy as far as the mid-range is concerned. The newest cards that we've got are things like Pelucranos Unchained, which is a 4 mana 6/6. Again, we've just got some really overstated cards, which are lovely. So we're going to be ramping into the Gitrog monster to make sure we get him down as early as turn 4. Could probably do it turn 3 as well, with the right hand. So Incubation Druid, Leafkin Druid, Paradise Druid, Arcane Signet, all of our 2 mana dorks to get us up to the Gitrog monster. It's really nice when you see one of these. You've got a pretty good chance of winning if you do. But as I mentioned, we've got a little bit of a land synergy in here as well, because this actually doesn't care about the land you sacrifice going into the graveyard necessarily. It's more about whenever a land goes into your graveyard from anywhere. So we have a lot of filtering cards to find the pieces that we need, which also subsequently put lands into our graveyard. So things like Glowspore Shaman is a 2 mana 3/1, which mills the top 3 cards of our library, and then we get to put a land on top. So if we mill those and we put a land into our yards, then Gitrog Monster is going to trigger. We've also got the Binding of the Titans to do a similar thing as well, except we get a little bit of graveyard hate, followed by some graveyard recursion for creatures or lands. We can put the Gitrog Monster in our graveyard a lot of the time as well, which is pretty cool, because again, with our little bit of a recursion synergy, there's a lot of ways for us to get back the Gitrog Monster. Be careful with that though, because if you do something like Binding of Titans to get back Gitrog Monster and they kill it, it's going to be stuck in there for a little while. But we have things like Golgari Finebroker and the new Acolyte of Affliction as well, which does effectively the same thing, but with a mill too. Again, if it mills over a land, we draw with Gitrog Monster. The 2 lands that really matter with Gitrog are specifically the fetch lands, so we've got Fabled Passage and Evolving Wilds. These ones, if you sacrifice while Gitrog is out, then you get to draw a card, so it's guaranteed value there. There's also Field of Ruin as well, which can sack a land. It's another thing where... where Field of Ruin goes into the graveyard and allows us to draw a card, so things like that. There's even Cryptic Caves, actually. Sacrifice Cryptic Caves, draw a card. It's going to be a draw 2 with Gitrog Master out. Good cards that we've got available. The usual lot includes are going to be Guardian Project and the Great Henge. The Great Henge being a 3 mana artifact with our commander out, so it's really easy to get this down and doing its business. Drawing cards whenever creatures enter the battlefield, non-tokens specifically. It's quite important. It also gains his life, ramps us, and it's just awesome. Just awesome. Guardian Project draws a card whenever a creature enters. Again, really awesome. It's only non-token though, so things like Garooks, 2/2s are not going to work, and Nissa doesn't put creatures into play with their +1, so it's not going to work there, but for the most part, we're going to be drawing lots of cards, and it really helps us make that additional land drop each turn whenever we play like Gitrog Monster and we draw 2 cards and then draw loads more. It's pretty sweet. Relentless Pursuit I found to be a really powerful card. I think this is a Gitrog auto-include, to be honest. 3 mana sorcery, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You get to put a creature card and a land card from among them into your hand, and then the rest into your graveyard. So a nice synergy with Relentless Pursuit is that we get to put a creature and land into our hand, and then anything else from those 4 cards, if there's an additional land in there, then we also get to draw Gitrog Monster again. So this thing can actually be a 3 mana draw 3 with the Gitrog Monster out. It's just beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. The rest of the deck kind of speaks for itself. It's very mid-rangey. We got Nylea for cost reduction on creatures. The 3 mana activation there is also another way we can draw cards. So 3 mana, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, we draw a card. Otherwise, you may put it into your graveyard. So the otherwise is if it's a land, we put it into our graveyard and the Gitrog Monster's out, we draw a card anyway. So the only thing Nylea is not going to do to draw his cards here is if it hits instants and sorceries and enchantments, I guess. But yeah, it's a really good chance that Nylea is a 3 mana draw a card every turn and it's repeatable, which is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The rest of the deck is removal. We've got Casualties of War, obviously. Assassin's Trophies, Eat to Extinction, gets a creature or a planeswalker. We've got Murderous Rider, creature or a planeswalker. Death Sprout puts a land into play, so it's removal and ramp. Very nice indeed. And we got our Fine Finality as well as a board wipe. And again, creature recursion. So before we go into the gameplay, I'm just going to open this pack, because it's here. You guys enjoy opening packs, don't you? I do too. What's this thing? It's a thing. The first Iroan Games was actually a card I had in this deck. I cut it because I was running out of slots. There's a lot of cards you can put in the Gitrog Monster, and there isn't always enough space, so keep that in mind. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into some gameplay. If you enjoy it, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tell me how much you enjoy it or dislike it, whatever you want to do. And other than that, I'll see you all on the battlefield. Alrighty then, we're in, and we've got a decent enough hand. I think we probably, don't know when we want to play this Witch's Cottage. It's going to be a tap land most likely for a long time, but yeah, I think the hand's otherwise fine. Having Paradise Druid on 2 is pretty good. We always really, ideally want a mana ramp spell pretty early on. Yeah, you see, that kind of makes me want to have 3 mana next turn. 3 mana turn after. So we're going to go with Overgrown Tomb tapped. I think we're playing Castle Lothwyn, just Paradise Druid, so then we can go Dryad and tap this Witch's Cottage down. We want to make all our land drops, after all. Hello. That's a Cryptic Caves. I like that. Our opponent, by the way, is playing Kalia Zenith Seeker, Mardu colours for a 3/3 Flying Vigilance. When Zenith Seeker enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library and may reveal an Angel card, a Demon card, and /or a Dragon card and put them into your hand. So it's up to a draw 3. Our opponent only got 1 card there. It's a luck, unfortunately, so we don't get to see what they saw. 1 damage to target creature defending player controls for 5 mana. Yeah, sure. You can do that. You can do that all you want, my friend. Okay. Well, now I'm kind of thinking that we might want to go circuitous route. Yeah. Hold our Death Sprout and also ramp into our Grunk. I think that's fine. So we're going to go circuitous route. We're going to get that Golgari Guildgate out, and let's see, we've got 1 swamp, 2 swamp, so this is still not going to be an untapped land most likely, so does it really matter what we get? I guess we just want another forest. Let's get that mana nice and even. Even though Dryad does actually turn lands into all the colours, we kind of want to have perfect mana even when Dryad is not out. Chromatic Lantern. Hello. I guess Dryad actually makes everything a swamp, so Witch's Cottage actually works. That's kind of cool. Alright, so opponent's ramping up. We're going to take this opportunity, I think, to Gitrog Monster. Oh, hello. Yeah, I guess we are. It's a shame that we didn't have an extra land in our hand, because then we could play the Great Henge here. Because unfortunately, it costs 3, and we have 2. So, yeah. It's a thing, I guess, but at least we've got our Gitrog going now, and Great Henge is very nice as well. So we're going to pass. We're ready to start doing our stuff. Our deck's very slow, after all, so... hopefully our opponent's not doing too much more than what we've seen so far, because then we can just run away with this game. I actually think we can definitely run away with the game if they don't play anything truly horrendous here. Because we get to go Great Henge, which is basically only 1 mana since it adds 2 anyway. And then we can play pretty much all the stuff we want, to be honest. Voracious Hydra to fight their whelps and whatnot. We could even play Grunk and kill something. So... guess I should have had an upkeep stop if I want to use this Death Sprout. That's fine, though. I don't think we do, necessarily. So let's get rid of Witch's Cottage. Draw a card, and then draw a card for the turn. Good stuff. That's a land. We want to always keep making our land drops. It's very important. I don't think we want to be drawing a card with that Cryptic Cave, so I'm just going to get rid of the colourless mana now. And I think we want a Voracious Hydra, to be honest. So we can do... what do we want to do is a thing. If we want to do an X4 Voracious Hydra, I think that's fine. So X4 Voracious Hydra. I was wondering whether or not I wanted to tap down anything. But I think a nice and big creature here. And we can even protect the Paradise Druid by fighting there. I think a big creature's in order here. And we even get a 6/6 Death Toucher to swing through with. Alright, I'm really liking where we're at. We've got a card draw monstrosity in play right now. So even if they kill Gitrog Monster, then we don't lose lands. Which I think... yeah, I think they know that. We don't lose lands. Acolyte can self-mill, hit lands, also draws cards, and we basically... probably likelihood is that we deck ourselves over a long period of time, but, you know, we've got Garruk, who can pretty much lock this game out. Their opponent's deck is very much high converted mana cost when it comes to the cards that they're trying to play. I don't think they've really got any good cards below 5 mana, so the fact that they're only able to play 1 card a turn means that we get to play 1 card a turn and remove their 1 card, so we're always in the driver's seat, and we're drawing extra cards, so I don't think there's really any way of them winning from that point forward, so pretty sweet. Alrighty then, we are in, and I like this hand quite a fair bit. We're going to be making land drops rather than ramping consistently, but, you know, it's better than nothing. As long as we get to Gitrog Monster on time, I'm totally fine. And our opponent's commander should probably allow us to do that, short of them having Frilled Mystic, which is kind of like the key creature counter in their deck. We'll get to them in a second. Just let me keep my hand, see what they lead off with. Temple of Mystery. Alright, so our opponent's playing Chulainn, Teller of Tales, Bant and 2/4, Vigilance. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card, and whenever you do that, you get to put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. You can also pay 3 and tap to bounce a creature, so you can repeat the activated ability all over again. It's pretty cool. I like it. Opponent's got the ramp, so they're getting to their Chulainn before we are, most likely. Let's go with Binding of the Titans first and see what we can get. No lands. Alright, and that's why I didn't play Glowspore Shaman first, because I didn't trust that that would work. Alright, so we get to exile some cards from graveyards. Nothing good in their graveyard, unfortunately. But yeah, our opponent's deck is effectively the same as ours, but in Bant and creature focused, whereas ours is in Golgari and land focused. We both draw extra cards per turn. Chulainn certainly does it a little bit better. Well then, that's just rude, isn't it? That is just rude. Why you have to be so rude? Alright, let's go Glowspore Shaman. And they won't be attacking with their Paradise Druid anymore, so that's a thing. We've already got the 5 lands we need, so I don't think I want to make that the play there. Let's just get down Castle Lochthwain and pass the turn. Yeah, I don't expect us to actually be countered on turn 5. So I'm not terribly in need of more lands. I'm going to kill your Paradise Druid if you attack with it. Yeah, they know it. Alright, no blocks. Take 2. If they pass, it kind of looks like a very obvious Frilled Mystic, but they are not, so good stuff. I'd love a playable. Relentless Pursuit. It's technically a playable, so I approve. Yeah, let's go with that now, just in case we find a tap land from here. So we get to look for a creature and a land. If we get both, that's pretty sweet. We did. We actually got Fabled Passage, which is a perfect combo with the Gitrog monster, since sacking lands for our land drops is pretty good. We're not going to play it just yet, though, because we want to play it post Gitrog monster, so we can get that draw in right away. So, yeah, let's pass the turn. We're going to be going Swamp, Gitrog monster, and then play Fabled Passage off the extra land drop per turn, and we'll crack it. We'll see what happens, though, because we might have to change courses a little bit if our opponent's going to be the way that they are. I actually kind of want to block here, because I don't want them bouncing Knight of Autumn to kill my Great Henge. I'm also getting down the Gitrog monster, so I'm going to have a decent block next turn anyway. And, well, we draw a Fine Finality, because deep down I knew that we were going to draw a Fine Finality, and that, having creatures in graveyards is pretty good. Crap Fable Passage. We get a Vraska Golgari Queen. Doesn't deal with Chulainn, unfortunately, but we kind of already have the answer to Chulainn anyway, so not the end of the world there. And, yeah, we'll pass the turn. See what we can do. Short of our opponent having Frilled Mystic, I think we're in a pretty decent spot. They could have fight spells on creatures. They've got Voracious Hydras and things like that. Ura! Oh boy. I haven't played Chulainn, actually, since Theros came out, so yeah, the Uro is definitely a really good addition to Chulainn, since it effectively does the same thing in a nutshell. Into the yard with you. You can also flicker it in response, if you really want to, with Chulainn, since this is actually instant speed. So you can get around that sack clause if you wanted, and just use it as a 3-mana, draw a card, gain 3 life, and put a land into play. And then draw another card and put a land into play. That's really good, actually. Brazen Borrower, my Gitrog monster. Okay, so going back to hand. And see what we want to do. We want to take that 4. I kind of really want a Casualties of War. But we just drew Evolving Wilds, which I like. That's a tough one. So if we went Casualties of War, we kill a land, which is probably going to be one of the temples. We kill Chulainn, and that gives them less mana to do anything next turn, other than just replay Chulainn, which is totally fine by me, I think. Yeah. Alright, creature, land. Creature. Land. I'm going for the white here over the green-blue, because they've already got the green-blue and the green-blue. So I'm going to pinch their white source instead, and we'll play Evolving Wilds. Not sure if I want to crack it just yet, since I've got the Gitrog monster to play first. I guess I can get guaranteed value by holding onto it, but it does leave me with 1 less mana to work with. But I think that's fine, since we've got Leafkin Druid to play next turn. Potentially. Alright. Yeah, let's get our guaranteed value. Oh, Garuk. My boy. My main man. My main man, Grunk. Yeah, let's go with Gitrog Monster. We'll use the Evolving Wilds. See what we can do. Trigger. Draw. I was hoping for another land. That's fair. Okay. Pelucranos isn't too bad, though. Having Pelucranos out means that I can just constantly fight Chulainn. So if he comes down here, I'll play Pelucranos, and I'll just use this here to boop him. Give him a good booping. We've got 6 cards in the yard, so they can bring back Uro. Oh my god, they got Thassa. Thassa doesn't seem all that great, to be fair. Okay. In a deck like this, since most of them are just like mana ramp guys and not really ETB related, like even Uro's not a good thing to flicker here. Alright, so we're going to put him back in the command zone. We are going to get him back by statuing anyway, so for those who don't know, we can put him back in the command zone because we know that if we kill this Prison Realm, its last known location. So by killing this, he comes out of my command zone again, which is really cool. Alright, so we're taking one. Really low pressure for us, and I like it. And then Risen Reef flickers, does Risen Reef things. Don't think we'll ever be able to answer Thassa, so it's just kind of a matter of keeping our opponent off of Flickering Agent of Treachery, which I think is our lose condition here for sure. Alright, so I'm going to tap Mobilize District. I'm going to kill Prison Realm. I'm going to trust that the lands that they leave me with are good enough, which they seem to be. Veil of Summer. Well then. We have Vraska later. Alright then. Let's just play Pelucranos then, I think. Nice 6/6. We've got Vraska to minus on the Prison Realm, get back Gitrog monster that way. We can also just fight loads of stuff with Pelucranos and keep those ETB related creatures off the board. We really do not want to see Agent of Treachery. That actually ends the game right here and now. We will not be able to beat that. Thassa is too much of a powerhouse when that is involved. Alright, well, goodbye Pelucranos. It's times like these when I wish that damage was permanent. But I guess we got lots of answers for it in hand regardless. We got Vraska, get back Gitrog monster, does its thing. We got Garruk minus Voracious Hydra, does its thing. Yeah, Flicker Risen Reef. I'm glad that they're only getting this much value. Again, like, have we really seen any, like, outside of Night of Autumn and Risen Reef, we've not really seen a good reason to run Thassa in our opponent's deck. It's all about the casting of the creatures, so their ETBs don't necessarily matter a lot. Right, so if I went with the minus here, I'd get back... Yeah, I think this is fine. I think we're going to lose Vraska. And that's going to suck. Oh, please don't have counter magic in your deck. Are you kidding me? Why? I was going to minus on your Prison Realm and then put Great Henge down thanks to Gitrog monster doing its thing. This is miserable. Alright, QE route. Do the thing. That's my turn. We're gonna lose. Finality doesn't do quite enough on the Voracious Hydra. Everything's animated and ready to go. And this is a disgusting attack. Yeah. Or are you... Why are you holding back? Yeah, that's what I thought. We are dead. Well, it's hard to beat Veil of Summer into Negate in a deck that doesn't usually run counter spells, but here we are. It's a thing. Alright, we're in. And I kind of like this hand, actually. 3 lands is a decent amount. We've got Paradise Druid into potentially Dryad to do the extra land drops to ramp us into Gitrog monster. I'm hoping I can get down Guardian Project nice and early as well. Maybe even before we play the Dryad. I kind of like this hand. We do want like a really aggressive hand that does a lot of things early, and I think this is definitely one of those things. Nylea is cost reduction, so it's like making a land drop on turn 4. Alright, so we're up against Heliod Suncrowned. I'm sure most of you know what this one does. It's a 3-mana Pridemate, basically, for every single creature. We'll get to that in a second. Just let me Play my Paradise Druid. Opponent plays Impassioned Orator, which means when a creature enters, they gain 1 life. So Heliod says whenever you gain life, you put a counter on a creature or an enchantment you control. And that's essentially all you need to know. There's going to be a lot of counters going everywhere, which is why we need to go real fast and solve problems very quickly. Casualties of War is a great way of solving problems very quickly. We could play Dryad next turn, which allows me to play this swamp right now. It doesn't ramp into anything, though, so I might consider going Guardian Project first. That way we can play Swamp next turn into Gitrog Monster. We are highly powered above our opponent at that point, and we're going to draw a card to make use of the downside of having to sacrifice lands. As long as our opponent doesn't disenchant here anyway. Alright. So I'm guessing by the delay they don't have a disenchant. But Impassioned Orator is definitely something we have to deal with soon. Atomic. Okay. Lands on the battlefield and land cards in graveyards can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. They've already got their Heliod as well, I'd like to point out. Well, we're going to Gitrog anyway, because he's nice and big. And we get to play lands, and I like playing lands. We've got the Great Henge on 3. I'm liking the look of Casualties of War, because as long as our opponent taps out, we can get a 3-for-1. We're going to hit Alsaid and a land, and probably... I don't even know at this point. We've got to hit something. Gotta hit something. We're taking 8. Yep. So, let's sack a forest. Yeah, Atomic's not that big of a deal, to be fair. It's mostly the fact that it shuts off a Nissa if I ever draw it, which means it's exactly what we're going to draw. Alright, so do we play Great Henge into Casualties of War? I think that's probably the idea. So this gives us 2 mana, and then we've got... not enough. Never mind. Yeah, I guess I have to Casualties of War, hit enchantment, creature, land. Oh, I can't target their lands. I have to first hit their Atomic, which doesn't really help all that much. I guess we're going to Great Henge then. And we're going to go Dryad. Hope to draw some cards here. I'm going to draw 2 from the Dryads. There's a land. Alright, so we play a land. We can then go Relentless Pursuit. Grab Fabled Passage. Put the other 2 into our yard, which means we draw 1 with Gitrog Monster. It's a fine finality. That is a fine draw. We're going to crack Fabled Passage. Grab a Swamp. Draw another card. It's an Arcane Signet. A bad draw for us, unfortunately. And that's a pretty decent turn. If I do say so myself. Alright. So we've got the finality now, which is probably something that I really want to fire off nice and early. Giving a -4/-4 to this board seems pretty good. We've also got then the ability to kill Gideon's Company with Assassin's Trophy or something like that. Johnny's Pride, mate. Can that get big enough to dodge finality? Putting a counter on Atomic. Please do not play anything creature-based or bad for me. / put it on Atomic. Ugh, beloved princess! Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. So we take 9, which isn't great. But now we get to wipe the board, minus Gideon's Company. We also take Heliod off the board as well. Do I want this Dryad out? I don't think I need it out, so I'm going to protect my life total. Remember, he's got Indestructible, and Gitrog Monster does survive here. I don't think I need Dryad to win this game, necessarily. I think I need more life. Alright, so we get rid of a forest, since we have the Great Hench. Excuse me, what's going on? Are we reacting to the trigger or something? Can I... Please don't you dare sacrifice. What's going on? Is the game bugged out? Is there something going wrong? So, it popped up. I want to be clear. If it does sacrifice the Gitrog monster, I want to be clear what happened here. This popped up to say, sacrifice unless you sacrifice the land, or you have to sacrifice the Gitrog monster. Trying to click on my lands to sacrifice them, and all it's doing is floating the mana. So I'm assuming... Yes, okay, fantastic. I'm assuming that there's no problem there. Maybe my opponent's setting up keep stop or something weird like that. So we draw an extra card. I think our opponent is in deep doo-doo, to be honest. Because we got a finality incoming. And it ain't gonna be fun for our opponent's board state, I imagine. So -4 to everything. We also get to put 2 counters on the Gitrog monster. Making him an 8/8 and currently good at blocking Heliod, who is going to go back to being an enchantment anyway. And then we also have the answer to Gideon's Company, because we can Assassin's Trophy it now that Al-Said is gone. Let's do the Arcane Signet first, I guess, into Assassin's Trophy, since it's mana efficient. And boop this big boy out of here. There we go. They do get a land, but this also allows us to attack him for 4. Which, short of them having the Sacrifice, Gideon's Triumph, I think it's called, something like that, I don't think there's much risk of us... Oh god, now I've put doubt in my mind. Oh, thank Christ for that. Alright, yeah, sacrifice an attacking creature is an effect Mono White has available to it. So, forgive me if I was a little worried there. Hushbringer, we don't care. So I'm going to sack Mobilize District, I guess, because I kind of want the colours. Sentinel's Mark, okay. Well, I'm going to Casualties of War. It's doing it again. Maybe it wants me to... It's giving me the opportunity to Death Sprout first. That would explain a lot. But in my previous testing of games, it never really gave me the opportunity to do things before we had to sack. So, a little confused. Alright, so, yeah, we're going to go Casualties of War right now. We're going to go Land, Creature, and leave it at that. We can't get rid of Heliod because he's indestructible, and we're going to get rid of the enchantment on Hushbringer anyway. I guess we might as well go enchantment just in case they have a God's Willing, and then at least we can get the Sentinel's Mark off of it. So, Creature, enchantment, land. Yeah, it's just better to be safe than sorry in that particular case. Alright, now we get to go Leyline Prowler and draw 2 cards. I guess I should have Templed first, but I don't think it makes too much of a difference knowing what we're going to draw next turn as to knowing what we're going to draw now. Evolving Wilds is just another card draw spell, so pretty good. Tap for 8. We got Nisso Shakes the World, and we've even got Underrealm Lich, which is a really good combo with Gitrog Monster. If you ever thought we were going to mill ourselves, Underrealm Lich will stop that happening. And also, whenever we sack a land, it's kind of like a weird infinite loop in a nutshell. If you would draw a card, instead look at the top 3 cards of your library and put 1 into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. So, if we sack a land, we draw a card with Gitrog Monster. If we put a land into our graveyard with Underrealm Lich's ability, then we get to do it all over again. Look at the 3, put 1 in. We eventually can stop that loop by hitting just 1 land and picking it, so that we don't trigger this again. But yeah, it's a great way of just refilling your hand entirely. And we also can't mill ourselves with Underrealm Lich, because the rule about milling yourself says if you would draw a card and you can't, i.e. You have no cards left in your deck, then you lose the game. This says if you would draw a card, instead do something else, which means we're technically never drawing a card with Underrealm Lich, so our deck can be empty for the entirety of the game and we wouldn't have any trouble whatsoever. So, pretty good. Let's go for another game. Alrighty then, we're in, and this hand's... Is it fine? I think it's fine. The problem is our opponent's deck. Our opponent's playing Tajic Legion's Edge, second time we've ever seen this commander before. I've never had any luck with it, but the last time we played against it we did lose to a rather aggressive board state. So Tajic is a 3-mana 3/2 haste with Mentor, so if it attacks with a creature with less power, it puts a 1/1 counter on it. Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to it, which I don't think we really do, outside of Voracious Hydra. And then it can gain First Strike as well to attack nicely through things. It's going to be an aggro deck for our opponent. So it's whether or not this hand is fast enough to beat our opponent's aggression. I guess it kind of is. It's a turn 4 Gitrog monster. We can fix our mana to maybe make Death Sprout work, and then we've got Acolytes, which have a decent booty, so I'm going to try it. I'm not entirely confident we're going to win with this hand, but it's worth a shot. Opponent's mulling as well, so we'll see. They took the free mull, so they're not actually down any cards here. So, Goblin Banneret. So far, so bad for us. And colourless lands. Fantastic. Alright. Yeah, we're just going to pass. We can Voracious Hydra for a little thing if we really want to. But I think the likelihood is we're going to go for Omer the Hunt next turn. Just opens us up to a lot more things to do. Temple. Aren't you awkwardly timed? So Temple is the second black we need for Death Sprout. We could do a Voracious Hydra X1, which means it's a 1/2 that can fight Fencing Ace and then trade off with the Banneret, but it dies to most burn spells, which I imagine they're going to be running. I think I'm actually just going to go Mobilize District and then flash in Omer the Hunt. So, yeah, this thing has flash. Kind of works quite nicely. I'm just going to get that out of the way now. Grab a Schwamp. And then we got the Gitrog monster down next turn, which is going to be hard for them to actually deal with. And we get to wait on Voracious Hydra a little bit. Witch's Cottage is a terrible draw. Alright, we got a 6/6, and we can play Temple down. Cavalier is good. More blockers the better. Having very large booties is kind of what we want. So, it's up to our opponent how much we're going to take here. If they want to swing with Tajic, they can get an extra point on the Fencing Ace. They don't want to swing in at all, and that's fantastic for us. Let's go with Field of Ruin. Not going to have time to do that kind of thing, and our opponent's on all basics right now. And we got the Cavalier of Thorns. We got the Board Wipe as well, which is not in the slightest bothered by what our opponent's doing with their Tajic. So I think we're going to win here, actually. We managed to ramp just enough to get all the 6 toughness creatures in our deck into play. And yeah, we're going to go Jungle Hollow here. Land entered the graveyard, so Gitrog monster draws us a card, and we gain life off the Jungle Hollow. Again, really fantastic here. A Relentless Pursuit, which is likely to draw us another card as well. We're in no rush to kill our opponent. We're just going to hold back and wait until we're in an absolutely disgusting position, which I think is going to be Voracious Hydra X as much as we can possibly do it for. Alright, they got an Elspeth Conquers Death. I'm going to go with the Cavalier of Thorns. I think both are equally bad for our opponent, so that's fine. Let's go with Witch's Cottage to draw some extra cards. Evolving Wilds is fantastic, allows us to draw a card for our turn here. Very nice indeed, so let's just go ahead and do that now. Can eat to extinction. Alright. And nothing really matters. Just grab a forest. So we have a Nissa in our deck. So Voracious Hydra is an X4. We could have it fight Tajic and be a 4-5. It's not too bad. We do need to time through the Elspeth Conquers Death here, I suppose. So I mean, maybe we just go Finality and just wipe the board. It's also just perfectly fine. I think that's perfectly fine. Yep, we'll take action. We will put a counter on the Gitrog monster. I think this is a lot for our opponent to lose here, especially against a deck like ours, so... And especially the fact that we're still on 17. Non-creature spells cost a little bit more, so I wanted to fire it off again for that taxing effect. We don't really want to be spending our turn removing things with non-creature spells. Gain control of my Gitrog monster. That's just rude. Do we have an answer for that? Not quite. So, until your next turn, creatures your opponents control attack each combat fable. Each tapped creature deals damage equal to itself, equal to its power. Is what we're dealing with here. How do we want to deal with this? They're going to get Fencing Ace back with Elspeth Conquers Death as well. We haven't slowed them down at all, apparently. Right. That's a tough one. So we can only get permanents back with Golgari Finebroker. It does leave us with 4 mana, but the minus on Vraska's not enough to get rid of the Akroan War. It's just 1 point too much, unfortunately. So I'm really stuck as to what I want to do here. Do I want to just, like, Death Sprout my own Gitrog monster? I think I do. Put it in... We'll put it in the graveyard, because I can get it back with Finebroker, and then we're going to grab a forest. And pass the turn. So we can play Finebroker next turn, and then into Gitrog monster. You get back Fencing Ace. And we have nothing to lose to the Chapter 2 now. So we have no creatures in play, and then each tapped creature deals damage equal to its power. So they can't attack. We're not going to have any tapped creatures. So we're totally fine. So let's play Golgari Finebroker. Nice big booty again. Play the Gitrog monster to our hand. Nice big booty again. And we're back in business. That doesn't do anything. Alright. It was looking a bit weird there, but we managed to get it. Perforos. What you putting into play? A Fireborn Knight. Okay. Oh, and a True Fire Captain. Jeez. Okay. So that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Let's stop 7 of it. They're going to lose Fireborn Knight, and they're going to lose True Fire Captain. I'm not tempted to block True Fire Captain at all, but I think I have to get rid of the 8 damage here, regardless of the fact that it's going to die anyway. I think that's just too much damage to take. So, yeah, let's just do that, and then they're left with not very much power on board. We are at 7, though. Graveyard. So, True Fire Captain dies, having dealt no damage. Perforos is down for the time being. Let's go with the Acolyte of Affliction. Mill 2. And then put a permanent into our hand, which is going to be the Gitrog monster again. There we go. It's a shame we can't do more. We'll land off of playing Paradise Druid, but I think this is just acceptable. Got to keep that devotion down as well, so Perforos doesn't do anything. All their creatures have haste as well. We have to be aware of that. Alright. So, they're basically dead. We block Tajic so that we can use Voracious Hydra to kill Fencing Ace. Tajic becomes completely unaffordable, so I don't expect our opponent to ever play that again. And yeah, let's sacrifice this forest. Close, but I think we got it. Ooh, Pelucranos. I mean, we could always just Voracious Hydra for the largest possible amount. And short of us... it's probably not worth the risk. I was going to say short of us actually just dying on our opponent's next turn. We got nothing to worry about, but I actually kind of worry about us dying next turn. So maybe not. Let's go with Relentless Pursuit. See if we can get a creature on a land. We can. We even get a lifelinker. Look at that. Every card we draw is just absolutely glorious. There we go. And... I'm nervous. I think we have to kill Fencing Ace. But I kind of want to kill Perforos. I think it's alright. Let's get this off the board. I will put that into my graveyard, please, and draw a card. Right. Fear of death. What is my fear of death? 5, 6, 7, 6, 7. It's not very high. It's risky, though. They only need 5. So they need a 3 devotion thing coming down. That's not likely to happen. Which is exactly why it is. Go on. Glass Casket. Okay, that's not too bad. Jaya, what do you do again? 2 damage to my face. 2 damage to my face. Oh dear. Please. Please give me good cards. It needs to die now, though, is the thing. Let's kill it with Immobilized District. Boop and boop. Down to 9, and then I think we just swarm the board to be on the safe side. Should lead with Glowspore Shaman because we get to draw a card. Choose one. I will put Fabled Passage on top. And then we'll do an X1 Voracious Hydra. Which we will use to fight the Fervent Champion. And then we've got 3 blockers to their potential 1 attacker. Yeah. Oh, that was too close. That was far too close. I didn't like that at all. Could we have played it a little bit better? Potentially. Not going to lie. There's probably a lot of lines there that we could have taken in a lot of different turns. But victory was achieved. So at the end of the day, it's not how he got there. It's all about the finish. As far as I'm concerned, at least, anyway. So, yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. This deck's pretty fun. I don't know if it's most competitive as it could be. As I mentioned in the deck tech, it is one of those decks that I think is just much better in Historic. So we're definitely going to come back and play a little bit of Gitrog in Historic Brawl. So stay tuned for that. We've got a lot of Historic stuff to do, actually, because I know a few of the decks I've listed are probably better in Historic, so, you know, got some content lined up, which is pretty cool. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, let me know what you think of the deck down in the comment section below. And on that note, we're going to end it off here. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.